The history of Baybucks doesn't quite go back to the Great Depression, but it's more lengthy than you might expect. There have been people who have been talking about local currency in this community since the 1980s. About 10 years ago was when a committee formed to say, well, can we get something going? That was about the first time I ever heard of local currency. I remember who said that word was Bob Russell. Many of you know Bob. And I can't remember what it was I was complaining about at the time, but there was something that was bothering me, and he said, well, what we need is local currency, and that will fix that. And then I didn't hear anything else about it for a while until somebody said, well, can you come to a Baybucks meeting? What's that? Okay, so that happened. Who are we? Who are we to say that we're going to print money that other people can spend? There's no one who has ever been on the Baybucks committee who is a government official or an elected person or even in a position of authority. We're not directors of anything other than of our own lives, and so we just did this. And how were we going to persuade enough people to join in this endeavor to make it work, with having no real authority? Well, we're going to get to that. Why would we want to do this? Everyone wants to make a better world. We don't always agree on what is better. I think that those of us who have participated in Baybucks do have kind of some shared values. We kind of are on the same page of what we think is better. The one thing that we agree on is that economics is really a central component of creating a vibrant, sustainable future for all of Earth's inhabitants. A lot of times people don't really think about economics. It's kind of boring, it's kind of hard to wrap your heads around. But this is something that many people are starting to wake up to now, that economics really is a vital part of the transformation that we want to see. We think that local currency can be a tool that's part of the solution. It's going to take a lot of people participating and a lot of ideas, not just Baybucks, but this is one thing. We have created a participatory exchange system with volunteers and with very little funding. A little tiny mini grant from Oriana, that's it. And so, it's very empowering to just be able to say, hey, this is our economy and we can make the economy we want. We don't have to really cede all of our economic power to distant markets and investment bankers. This is just one way we can take it back. But there's more to do. Local currency is not an economic system. It doesn't establish any rules of trade between producers and consumers. It doesn't automatically confer relationships. It's just a tool that people can use to facilitate these relationships, to set up these circles. I'm going to give you two examples of how this has worked so far. And the first one involves Oriana. And I remember hearing concerns about, watch out, the store is going to be a place where it pools. Local currency happens to just get dumped at co-ops, at the grocery store. It's an easy place to spend it. And Bob Struthers, who was the general manager at the time, he certainly heard those concerns and he said, okay, so what? I have faith in my community and we're just going to do it because it's the right thing. It's like what Richard's thing said, it's good for the community. And that's why Oriana did it. And it did start to pull at Oriana initially. And then a group of musicians came to Bob and said, hey, would you pay us Baybucks to play in the new Lake Street Cafe? Yeah. And so the musicians that you hear when you shop at Oriana are paid in Baybucks. Other suppliers, vendors such as Shettlers, take Baybucks in payment. Some of the consultants that provide services to Oriana do as well. And they were spending Baybucks with vendors before the musicians, and the musicians kind of just made it even easier. Now the second example I'm going to give you, we have a new bookstore downtown. I don't know how many of you have been in Brilliant Books. They have a sign on the window that's occupy this bookstore or occupy your local merchants, which is what we're trying to do. And I kept thinking when I heard they were opening, but we already have one big bookstore downtown, and we have Higher South, and then we have the Bookie Joint. Does Traverse City have any more room for bookstores? But it occurred to me that the bookstores, they're not really competing so much with each other. They're competing with the online retailers now. That's where they're losing sales to. That's why Borders went out of business. Horizon didn't drive Borders out of business. Amazon did. And it would be in the interest of the merchants in the community to see Baybucks, a local currency, really take off and be circulating, because those dollars are never going to those competitors. You cannot use a Baybucks to order a book from Amazon. If you earned Baybucks at your place of business and you gave your babysitter Baybucks, and your babysitter wants to buy a book, the babysitter is going to go to one of our local bookstores. It has to, if they're going to use the Baybucks, and then that money will circulate again. It keeps the money in the community. So anyway, we're eager to see what other creative approaches might be sparked by Baybucks, and if anyone has any ideas, we're always willing to hear them. And really what it's going to come down to is the ultimate usefulness and acceptance of Baybucks as a tool for economic transformation depends on this community. It was like Richard said, the community decided they wanted the script. The community decided that it was something that they felt strongly about and wanted to participate in. What happens with Baybucks depends on what this community decides. And so this may be the moment for that, with all the enthusiasm for really kind of taking back the economy, and we'll see.